Hello, everybody, and welcome to Teaching Thursdays. So exciting. How is everybody today? I hope that you guys are having a fantastic day. Today, we're going to learn something that a lot of people in the pagan world kind of take for granted that everybody else in the pagan world knows about. But not everybody does, and not everybody's willing to admit, hey, I don't know shit about this. I know the general concept, but I really don't know much about what is this, let's cast a circle thing, or make sure I cast a circle first before you do this, or whatever, and I don't know a damn thing about it. Well, here I am to kind of start with part one of a multi-part series inside the Mentorship Circle. Now, those who are in the Mentorship Circle will be able to get the rest of these teachings. This first one I'm throwing out there for everybody to kind of get a preview to see what the Mentorship Circle is like, because this is what I do. I have 35 years as a witch and in the metaphysical world, and almost 48 years on the planet. So I've learned a couple of things. So from what I've learned, this is where I dump out my knowledge for the rest of you. So circles. Circles are about sacred geometry, first of all. And that's another term that you'll hear in the spiritual / pagan world / whatever, that there is symbolism, or there are symbolisms in different geometric shapes. Okay, so anywhere from a triangle to, as you see, a pentagram that we will talk about in a little while, to a triangle, well, we said triangle, to a square, to octagons, to various shapes. And in that is kind of like a mix between the metaphysical world and the scientific physical world. The physical representation of a shape can have a lot of different meanings. Well, we're going to talk about the circle and what a circle means. Now, these days, we talk about the power of circles and different things, but the power in circles was something that was represented in mythology long ago. We see it in ancient Sumerian cultures, okay? We see it in old Viking cultures. We see it in the Ptolemaic writings, the Kabbalah, in some of the Jewish history. We see it in like every culture out there. There's some kind of a sacred geometry, and circles typically represent with what you see here, which is the world serpent in the Norse mythology, which is something which has no beginning and no end, officially. Here we have Jormungandr, the world's serpent. The serpent that is eating his own tail. And when he is finally able to consume himself, Ragnarok will begin. Okay? But it is a symbol of unity. Okay? We see it throughout history in things like Stonehenge. One of the famous circles that was out there that has kind of come down through mythology and been loved by cultures across the world is Arthurian mythology. The Knights of the Round Table, the circle. The Round Table was meant by King Arthur to show that nobody sat or stood higher than any other. There was no head of the table or foot of the table. There was no ranking among the seats. Everybody is on equal ground, equal setting. Nobody can say, I am at the head of the table. Now, granted, I'm sure somebody can have a fancier chair than somebody else, but hey, it is what it is. It's still a symbol of equality, okay? So when you come down to it, you see, the circle of equality. You also see the circle of the earth. Now, I looked for it and I couldn't find it, but I have a picture of when I went to Ephesus, and that's over in Greece, in case anybody was wondering. But when I went to Ephesus, I saw a statue there of somebody who had their foot on a globe. And you're like, wait a second, isn't that before they decided that the world was round? Yeah, because, they'd already figured that out back then. And it, still some people can't figure that out this day. But They saw that as the planetary body, the circle, the ruling planet, the world, Yormonger, the world being around as well with that. So we have that. We also have what people call the Wheel of the Year, which is represented in what you see on the screen here, Stonehenge. Stonehenge, as we well know, lines up perfectly with the summer solstice. Now, if you look at it, it lines up perfectly with the winter solstice and the other two solar holidays, which would also be the equinoxes. Okay, so all of those kind of line up within the clock there, which is Stonehenge. This was a magical place. We don't know exactly what it was used for, but we can tell very much that it was in line with the passing of the sun, the passing of the seasons, the marking of time, and we can infer that because of some of the things that we have found in and around, that this was a holy site and a worship site, a magic circle. Okay? These days, we very much use circles in our daily lives, okay, as far as a symbol of power. Oh my goodness, what is that? Well, first of all, moment of bragging, that's a picture I took at one of the weddings that I'm a photographer too. But yes, those are wedding rings, okay? The groom and the bride's wedding ring there, okay? Also, circles, representative of an unending relationship. And you'll hear, you go to any wedding and they say, okay, with this ring, I thee wed. They put rings on each other's fingers as one of the major wedding traditions of our age. When they put that circle on one another, that is a magic circle. They are putting it on that heart finger, the one finger that is said to link all the way up to the heart, your ring finger, okay? And you're talking about a relationship and the joining of circles and so on and so forth. So we're looking at the magic of circles. Now, circles traditionally always represent something that has no end. No beginning, no end. This is the ultimate, many people feel like this is the ultimate form of divinity. That divinity and spirit itself is like the circle. No beginning and no end. So, it's not surprising that people and cultures world over, everywhere over, have created a magical space that is circular shaped to symbolize or to invite the divine. Now, of course, there's always the kind of circle that you see on movies. Most of the time, these circles are filled with other sacred geometries, such as the pentagram. Now, many people are like, oh, but that's a demonic thing. No, it's not a demonic thing. It actually represents what you see here on the screen. Earth, air, fire, water, and spirit. It is another sacred geometry, and spirit always being the pinnacle of the star, okay, the top part of the star. Now, when you're doing one of your regular circles, as far as a modern day casting of a circle, what you're trying to do in casting a circle is you're trying to create a magical barrier, a realm that kind of puts everybody else on the outside and only what you allow on the inside. We see these circles not just in movies and stuff like that, but we see them in, shows like one of my favorites, the Supernatural series. Make a circle of salt for protection. Draw a circle around you for protection. Okay, this is also, and yes, it is Saturnalian and solar in nature, yes. Now, when somebody casts a circle, the logic behind having a circle around you, again, is to create a divine space, a space where there is no beginning and no end. When you look at it into modern Wicca, and what a lot of modern Wiccans say is a place which is not a place where time does not exist. You're creating, if you will, a bubble. Picture blowing a bubble. And inside that bubble is a different airspace, and outside that bubble is a different airspace, and you have a thin little barrier around you. If you are in this bubble. Well, if you're creating a magic circle, then you are doing the same thing. In effect, you are creating an energy bubble around you. Okay? So the whole goal is to create a three-dimensional, not just a two-dimensional circle on the ground, but a three-dimensional sphere, really, around you, which contains your divine power and protects you from aspects that are around you. The circle is a thing of power, naturally a thing of power. A sphere is the ultimate expression of a three-dimensional circle. So when you are casting a magic circle, you must remember that while you may be drawing something in a two-dimensional space, or you need to kind of have a three-dimensional sphere in your mind. Okay, and many times people do a three-dimensional half-circle sphere in their mind and think, oh, I don't need to extend below the ground to create a circle below the ground. I've got a ground under my feet. But if you are truly trying to create a magical space where you're outside of time and space and you have a fully protected environment, you want to envision a complete sphere. Okay? So that's going to be an important part. One of the things that once you are in a circle, it also works to contain your power until you are ready to direct it and release it. So what we have here is an image of witches that are doing a raising power ceremony, creating a cone of power. They are standing around, they are joining hands, they are lifting their hands, and they are bringing power into the circle, and they have given the circle a physical representation. Now, you can do a physical representation if you want, but you don't have to. This is all about projection, energy projection. And you're like, well, Shiya, I can't see energy. Well, I'm sure you got an imagination. Okay? You can use your imagination to visualize into existence your energy pushing into a bubble around you, to create a bubble around you. And how to actually go through creating a circle of power or a protective circle is something that we will go through on some of our future installations of casting a circle. But I wanted to really get into kind of all of those things. Now, if you look online, there's all kinds of circle calls, how to cast a circle. The real answer is there's truly not a wrong way if you're envisioning a bubble and a circle around you, but there are ways that others will be able to relate to you with you too, in like a public gathering. So what I will be teaching in further installments is how to create the most standard Wiccan circle, which is one that calls the quarters: earth, air, fire, and water. And we will learn how to do a quarter call at each of the north, south, east, and west points within a circle. And of course, that's kind of an oxymoron. There's no points in a circle, but there is a northernmost part of the circle, the southernmost part of the circle, east and west, as you can understand. Okay? Now, here's a nice little circle call, kind of. This is not how to cast a circle, but somebody wrote a nice little poem about a circle call. Darksome night and shining moon, hearken to our joyous tune. North, east, south, and west, we call ye forth this circle blessed. Earth and air, fire and water, come and join your son and daughter. Body, mind, spirit, and heart, make sacred this space a world apart. Gentle mother of earth, awesome father of sky, join with our hearts, the time is nigh. Great Spirit, divine one, creator of all, answer our most reverent call. The circle is cast, the light unbroken, so mote it be our magic spoken. Now, Does everything that you do have to rhyme? No, it's kind of cute when it does. It's fun. It's easier for us to remember things. Is this a standard circle call? No, somebody wrote it and thought it was cool, and I think it's cool too. So I'm sharing it with you. But you can see in this particular chant what we were just talking about, which is the most common way of calling a circle, which is going to all of the points, north, east, south, and west, which actually correspond here, north being earth, east being air, south being fire, west being water. So you see north, east, south, and west, we call you forth to the circle blessed. Earth, air, fire, water, come to join your son and daughter. Okay, and so that's one of the things when you're casting a circle in the traditional Wiccan sense, you will invite all of the elements and all of the cardinal points, sometimes called guardians, watchtowers, elementals. It doesn't matter. What you call something is what you call something. But these are the normal associations. And it's important for us to have accepted normal associations so we can kind of work together in group settings. But if on your own you want to mix it up, whatever makes the most sense to you, that's fine. We can say, this is the right way. North is earth, east is air, south is fire, and west is water. And we have logical, rational reasons for these things generally, and historical reasons for these things. But if you need to mix it up, way I feel is learn the acceptable way that everybody else kind of does, and then once you learn the rules, break them as you feel the need to do so. Okay, there's no, you're gonna have a lot of witches that I'm gonna piss off with this one, but the truth is, they may tell you there's a wrong way, but if it works for you, is that the wrong way? Seriously? Okay, so yes, this is a great thing. Could you do this and cast a circle with this? Abso-fucking-lutely you could. All right, if this is something that this is your chance to cast a circle and you are taking the time to visualize while you're doing it, then yeah, you're going to cast a circle. Jonathan, who's in the chat, let me turn the chat on for everybody to see here. Jonathan, who's in the chat, says the more you practice visualization, the more your psychic sight will open up and you'll be able to see without visualizing in time. That is very true, but you have to visualize the energy, and when you're inviting in earth, air, fire, water, you're picking up the power of those elements, and that's adding to your visualized circle, okay? Now, here's another little page that I kind of found out there. It's kind of like the sacred circle. And it talks about that the sacred circle represents wholeness and balance and continuity. And it's a part of the cycle of life. It's a circle, the circle of life. Okay, so yeah, you've got that whole kind of circle kind of going on, and there's so much represented in the circle. And here you see kind of a representation of the Celtic tree of life, and you can see the circle of life represented in the Celtic tree of life as well. Okay, so this is where you're going to do your workings and things of that nature. So what are some of the advices that this particular page gives us? It says decide the amount of space you will need. Okay, now that's a great thing. When you're deciding that you're going to cast a circle, you can cast it over a whole room. You can even cast it just as your personal aura. It doesn't have to be a big giant space. Or you know what? If you have 100 people and you want to have 100 people come and hang out in your circle, well then go for it, okay? Go for it. You're just going to need to make sure you have a space big enough, all right? I've had circles with more than 100 people in them before. Okay, now, so decide how much space you're going to need. Then you clean your ritual area, okay? So make sure that, you don't have extra shit that you don't need, extra bad energy shit that you don't want, that you don't need. Get it to your satisfaction. But Shiya, I have a lot of clutter around me, and I just really want to have a protective circle. That's fine. You can do that. Again, no wrong way. It's clean your area and get your area. The whole point of cleaning your ritual area, many people are like, oh, you have to do it because God's, don't appreciate this or don't appreciate that. Or, you know what? I guarantee you there's a God of clutter out there that probably fucking loves the clutter. Okay? So the point is that Get it to where you're comfortable. Get it to where you feel like you can move in the ways that you want to move, that you can express in the ways that you want to express, and you can work on your energy and do your workings or whatever it is you're planning on doing inside of your magic circle. As long as you feel comfortable in the space that you've allotted yourself, just clean your ritual area to the way that you feel. If you feel like, hey, I really like to sage things and I want to make sure that there's all the bad negative vibes that are regardless of all the energy and stuff like that, you know what? Sage your circle. Okay? Sage it and feel good, or spritz your circle with holy water, Florida water, whatever it takes to make it feel, that area feel energetic to you. Okay? And then of course, third thing, draw your circle. Now you can do a whole bunch of things. Remember we were talking about like marking. Here we go. We're gonna put that one there, where we mark out the circle physically. Okay, you can see there they marked it out with branches and things like that. Here she marks it out, her circle out with candles. You don't have to. Okay, you don't have to mark it out with salt. You don't have to draw it on the ground. You don't got to put chalk, and it doesn't have to be this symbol or that symbol or any other symbol. Now, are there things that you can do? Yes. Are there things that you can do that will enhance your focus and enhance the power of your circle? Yes. Sometimes just having it drawn out in the dirt or with candles or with chalk help you with your visualizations and your focus? Yes. Do you have to? No. There have been plenty of times where I have cast a circle without uttering one word out loud, because I believe that I can communicate and do communicate with the spirit world within myself, and that my voice verbally is just a sound wave, whereas my voice spiritually is a spiritual powerhouse wave. Okay, so I don't even sit there and I always think of, okay, I'm looking to the north and I'm calling on earth. No. Do I sometimes? Yes. Do I especially do this when I am doing a group ritual so that we can all focus our energy in a harmonious way together? Yes. And that is why you have certain acceptable forms of circle casting that are accepted and seen and understood by people in general, people as a whole. That is the whole point of ritualization, folks. Ritualization isn't because the ritualization is necessary for the personal, for the individual. Ritualization acts as a mode of communication between people who are living a human or a physical experience. Okay? Let me say that again. Ritualization is for communication. And I'll explain what I mean by that. You do not have to ritualize a conversation with the divine because your spirit is constantly connected to the divine. You do not have to ritualize channeling your spirit, your energy, your anything, because you are the magic. The most powerful thing on this planet is you and what you contain within you as far as a spiritual being. Okay? Yeah, there might be some more physically powerful stuff out there. There's a lot of people that can physically overpower me. All right? But I am in tune with my spiritual shit, and it's going to take a hell of a lot to spiritually overpower me because I know who I am in spirit, and you can't damage my spirit as long as I hold on to who I am spiritually. You can damage my body, you can damage my feelings, you can damage a lot of things about me, but you can't change my soul. Only I can change my soul, okay? So, what if I'm having this spiritual experience and I notice that if I do this one certain thing, I am feeling a certain way? So I'm going to talk to somebody else. And I'm going to say, hey, when I do this, like when I sit there and and I start dancing to this. And I notice that my heart starts going with the drum beat. Okay? And next thing you know, I'm dancing. And when I start dancing, my endorphins go, and then my endorphins are going, and all of a sudden I feel more connected to the spiritual side. I'm going to come and talk to you, and I'm going to say, yo, Marsha, let's dance together to these drums. Feel what I feel. Let yourself just go into the music and feel it. Feel it. Do you feel the spiritual connection? Now I'm ritualizing something, and I am communicating the actions that I took to Marsha to say, hey, this is how I felt when I started dancing to these drum beats, and noticing my heart is starting to go with the drum beats. And I'm noticing that as I'm really starting to connect, now I can go up and I can feel power, and I feel power, and I have somebody that I love that's hurting, and I'm going to go over and I'm going to put my hands on that person, and I can feel the power leave my body and into that person. And next few days, that person starts feeling a lot better, and holy shit, that's the first healing. Now it becomes a healing ritual. Now I am dancing to the beat, and others are dancing to the beat with me, and we are communicating together in this ritual. We are all focusing our energy together, and now we've got more people. And it's kind of like when you get people in a room, a cold room, and you got people that are moving and they're generating heat, just like science teaches us. Action generates heat. We're raising a cone of power, and next thing you know, we got all this cool shit power going on. We're raising our power, and now we're choosing to go and heal this person. And wow, what do you know? Shit happens, and now we have a healing ritual. But we are ritualizing that, and we are communicating with each other. I have communicated with Marsha. Hey, Marsha, when I dance like this, I feel this way. Do you? Marsha says, yeah, Shiya, I feel that way too. Hey, Jonathan, when I dance like this to these, do you start feeling a connection? And Jonathan's like, yeah, I feel that connection. Hey, you want 3 of us go dance around like this and just kind of generate that energy and see what happens? Yeah, Shiya, let's do it. All right, so here's Caveman Jonathan and Caveman Marsha and Caveman Shiya dancing around while we're beating on stones, and then going up and putting our hands on somebody that's hurting and watching them feel better. Now we're realizing, hey, I wonder what else this shit can do. Let's put our hands on the land and see if we can get better crops. Now we're generating communication and ritual. Okay? So the whole point of a circle with others is to communicate with one another on a physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual level. And that's what we see here on our thing here is we have 4 witches here that are raising power. They are touching, they are communicating, they are focusing together. They are focusing their energy. And when you create a magic circle around you, that magic sphere that contains the energy that you're raising, so that together or individually, however you choose to do, solitary or as a ritual, whatever, it actually helps you generate and focus your natural energy, as well as gather energy from the elements that are around you, whatever other elements that you have added into your spell, participating, so on and so forth. So now you know the science of magic. Wait a second, Shiya, you just claimed science was magic. Magic was science. Yes, magic is science, guys. All right. Look, what is magic to people 1,000 years ago is science to us today. We have magical airwaves. We have things that are traveling through little microfibers throughout the entire world, carrying the voices and images of people who are far, far away. I can see somebody thousands of miles away and talk to them, even though we are a world apart, and we can share experiences. What magic is this? Wi-Fi, you say? That is not magic? That seems like magic to me. The airwaves speak to us. That's magic. No, that's science. Uh-huh. And yes, as Jonathan puts it, if you look at the 7 Hermetic principles, they are now backed up by quantum physics. Absolutely. What was magic and occultism 100 years ago is now science, even so recent as 100 years ago. My gosh, if I walked into 100 years ago, I'd probably still be burned at the stake like I've been many a frickin' time. You'd think for as many times as I've been burned, I would hate fire, but I still love fire. What can I say? So what is the point to creating a magic circle? Again, protection, self-protection. You would want to create a magic barrier or magic boundary around you anytime that you are doing any kind of spiritual work, so that, hey, it's basically saying, look, I'm going to lock my door. All right. I'm about to get naked in my own house. So before I get naked in my own house, though, I am going to close the blinds and I am going to shut and lock the door, because if I'm running around bare-assed, I don't necessarily want my next door neighbor to see me doing so. Or random guy off the street says, oh, there's a naked witch in that house. Let me go in and see what I can do to fuck with a naked witch. Well, when we're generating power, when we're working with energy, when we're creating spells, we are opening ourselves up spiritually. So we are at that point somewhat spiritually naked. So what we want to do when we're creating that circle is we're basically saying, all right, I am closing my blinds now. I am locking my door, and you can't come in without my say so. Not only that, but I am asking for the elements of earth, air, fire, and water. Hey guys, this is my intent. Give me your energy, not only to help me with what I'm working with, but protect my ass, please. God, divine masculine, goddess, divine feminine, spirit of the universe, spirit of all. Okay? Do me a favor. Give me a hand with what I'm doing. Give me some guidance with what I'm doing. And please keep the bad shit out. Keep this shit going with how I'm intending. I'm going to do some work here. Help me out. Be a part of it. You're welcome to come and hang with me. But make sure that my door is locked. So not only are you shutting and locking your magical door when you're creating it, and you're kind of putting a little doorbell out, with your ring guide doorbell there, but you're connecting it up to the biggest security firm on the face of the universe, aka the divine power that you are channeling through divine masculine, divine spirit, divine, feminine, earth, air, fire, water, and whatever powers you happen to call on to create that circle. So you're like, you know what? I'm shutting and locking my door, and I'm setting my alarm, and only I have the code. Okay? So it's the intent that you're doing. You're putting yourself into a protected realm, into a protected area, so that you can accomplish what you need to accomplish without big bad nasties, negative entities, negative spirits, other asshats that might be having bad vibes towards you, ghosties that are floating around, all the spiritual things that don't need to be coming in all the time, okay? So that's basically what you're doing. And when you're casting protections on somebody, you're basically putting a circle of protection or an egg of protection or whatever you want to do around them as well. And just like all things, if you have a security system, let's say you have a Ring doorbell, okay? I have a Ring doorbell. My Ring doorbell functions great, and it turns around and tells me when there's something that's in sight of my Ring that I might want to be aware of, or when somebody deliberately comes up and says ding dong, and I can kind of communicate with them on that Ring doorbell. But eventually the battery starts dying. So I have to actually take that Ring doorbell battery, or actually in this case, the monkey ends up doing it because he's the Ring doorbell expert in the house. But he takes the battery off of the Ring doorbell, brings it inside, connects it up, and charges it because the Ring doorbell says, battery low. Battery low. So you have to, just like that, you have to renew your protections. And if you're doing something extra special, like a particular spell, you definitely want to have that little magical bubble that you can be in. The place which is not a place where time does not exist. So next time we are going to get into the actual how to cast a circle according to Wiccan standards. How to cast a Wiccan magical circle. Now, many people in the pagan world will use that form as well. It's not exclusive to Wicca, but I'm going to, just for sake of ease, say this is your basic Wiccan circle, and you can translate it how you will. Any other way from there. This is going to be the most common group circle casting that you will find out there. And again, we will go through the exact step-by-step how to next Thursday for Teaching Thursdays on Shiya's Mentorship Circle. Now, if you're not in Shiya's Mentorship Circle, then I'm afraid you're going to miss next Thursdays. Now, what happens if you're in the circle and you're like, oh, but Shiya, I can't catch you live? That's okay, because all of these Teaching Thursdays are archived within Shiya's Mentorship Circle, so you can watch them and interact with them, ask questions on them whenever you darn well please, even if it happens to be 5 in the morning when I am sound asleep, at least most of the time. So, do think about joining. You can go to ladyshiya.com/trial to get 1 month free, and every month thereafter it is $25 per month. It is a Facebook-based group. Self-paced learning is available in the guides. We have, of course, what you see here, which is the Teaching Thursday classes. We have 2 weekly journal prompts going right now, one on helping each other get to know each other and get to know ourselves as well, which is the Getting to Know You journal, and the other one, which is where we work together through our shadow work, and that's our shadow work journal. And we help out each other. We have exclusive guided meditations that are available within the guides, an exclusive spell archive, which is available in the guides. So if you need a spell, you can look it up, and if there's not what you need there, you can just ask for it and I'll craft one for you, or teach you how to craft your own, which there is a class inside of Shiya's Mentorship Circle on crafting your own spells, and we will get more in depth with that over time. We have massive community support. We had a member of the circle who had a shooting near her the other day, and they had a shooter at large, and it was like 1, 2 in the morning, and she got on and was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out. And all the rest of us came together. We're like, girl, we're here, breathe, we're sitting energy, we're casting spells together, we're just supporting her until the shooter was caught, or killed himself, really. And then afterwards, so we're always there supporting one another big time. So community support and connection is one of the biggest things out there. And as I said, everything's archived for your self-paced review. The Mentorship Circle members also get free readings every Monday night on my live reading show, which I've been doing at 10 o'clock these days, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So any Mondays that I do the Mentorship Circle, whether it's daytime or evenings, Mentorship Circle members are welcome to come in and get a free reading. All they have to do is say, hey, I'm in the Mentorship Circle. And I'm like, oh, yes, we'll put you on the Mentorship Circle list. Things that you can learn about in Mentorship Circle is things like Reiki, Tarot, empathy, spells, witchcraft, shadow work, mindfulness, astrology, dream interpretation, Reiki, runes, you name it. All kinds of stuff. And as you see, we are learning the basics of witchcraft and Wicca. So if you've been wanting to expand your witchcraft knowledge now, doesn't necessarily mean you have to be a Wiccan. I know plenty of Christian witches. Yes, there is such a thing. Muslim witches, Buddhist witches, name any religion out there in the world, and there is a witchcraft version of them somewhere, because witchcraft itself is a craft, not a religion. Wicca, on the other hand, is a religion. However, it has most of the common witchcraft practices based in a Wiccan form that others will relate to. Like I said, ritual is simple communication between other people. so that we can work together on a spiritual level. Ritual is a form of communication between us, mostly for our benefit. Because you know what? In case you haven't realized it, Spirit doesn't write stuff. So Spirit's not the one writing all of these rituals. People are. Think about that for a minute. So anyway, come and learn the deep mysteries of spirituality. I don't have all the answers, people. I just have the answers that I've found over my 35-year path as a witch and my 47 and almost 48-year journey as a human being in this lifetime, plus some of the shit that I remember from previous lifetimes. So yeah, that's all I got. And so hopefully I can share some of the answers that I found, and hopefully my answers will help you find your answers. And of course, in a circle, all are one. So maybe some of your answers might help me find some of my answers too. Who knows? But here we share, here we grow and learn together. It is a community, and I invite you to join it by going to ladyshiya.com/trial and get a free month and see if this is a place for you. Hope to see you in the mentorship circle, and I hope this teaching was of benefit to you. Meanwhile, as we say, as we say, it's a Wiccan form, but as Wiccans most often say, when we are done with our ritual work, may the circle be open, but unbroken. May the peace of the God and Goddess be ever in your heart. For merry we met, and merry we will part. Until merry we shall meet again.